Today we're going to be reading Joshua 23, the whole chapter. It says, "Now it came to pass a long time after the Lord had given rest to Israel from all of their enemies round about, that Joshua was old, advanced in age. And Joshua called for all Israel, for their elders, for their heads, for their judges, and for their officers, and said to them, I am old, advanced in age. You have seen all that the Lord your God has done to all these nations because of you. For your Lord your God is he who has fought for you. See, I have divided to you by lot these nations that remain to be an inheritance for your tribes, from the Jordan with all the nations that I have cut off, as far as the great sea westward. And the Lord your God will expel them from before you and drive them out of your sight. So you shall possess their land as the Lord your God promised you. Therefore be very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, lest you turn aside from it to the right hand or to the left, and lest you go among these nations, these who remain among you, you shall not make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause anyone to swear by them. You shall not serve them, nor bow down to them, but you shall hold fast to the Lord your God, as you have done to this day. For the Lord has driven out from before you great and strong nations, but as for you, no one has been able to stand against you to this day. One man of you shall chase 1,000 for the Lord your God. He is he who fights for you, as he promised you. Therefore take careful heed to yourselves, that you love the Lord your God, or else if indeed you do go back and cling to the remnant of these nations, these that remain among you, and make marriages with them, and go into them, and they to you. Know for certain that the Lord your God will no longer drive out these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps to you, and scourges on your side, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from this good land, which the Lord your God has given to you. Behold, this day I am going the way of all the earth, and you know in all your hearts and in all your souls that not one thing has failed of all the good things which the Lord your God spoke concerning you. All have come to pass for you. Not one word of them has failed. Therefore it shall come to pass that as all the good things have come upon you, which the Lord your God promises you, so the Lord will bring upon you all harmful things, until he has destroyed you from this good land which the Lord your God has given you. When you have transgressed the covenant of the Lord your God which he commanded you, and have gone and serve other gods and bow down to them, then the anger of the Lord will burn against you, and you shall perish quickly from the good land which he has given to you.
Thank you, Will. So today's devotional will be focusing on Matthew 7. So today's devotional will be focusing on Matthew 7:12. Let's begin by reading Matthew 7:7-12. It says, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Or what man is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will you give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will you give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you want men to do, do also to them, for this is the law of the prophets." So in verse 7-12, God is telling us to be kind and giving, and verse 12 means that you need to treat others the way you want to be treated. So Jesus showed us how to apply Matthew 7:12.1 by feeding the 5,000. Let's look at John 6:9-11. There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what are they among so many? Then Jesus said, "Make people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples to those sitting down, and likewise of the fish as much as they wanted. And the second example is washing the disciples' feet. John 13:3-5 states that Jesus doesn't want to, but he is. So I'm going to read John 6:9-11. John 13:3-5. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel which he was girded. And that is good. That's a good example. And the final example is Jesus dying on the cross. Luke 23:34 says that, "Then Jesus said, 'Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do.'" And even though they were crucifying him, he wanted them to be forgiven. And then ways we can follow Matthew 7:12. One way is making and giving out blessing bags. When I was in Chicago with my grandma and papa, we gave blessing bags to about 3 to 4 people who were living on the street, and some were holding signs. As a congregation, we can prepare and give out blessing bags too. The second way we can apply Matthew 7:12 is by helping others when you don't want to. At school, my friend Arden asks me to try his shoe a lot, and sometimes I don't want to. In these kinds of situations, we can think about what did Jesus do. Lastly, we can apply Matthew 7:12 by willing to forgive others. Sometimes my brother and my sisters and I don't get along. We have to learn how to forgive each other. When Jesus was dying on the cross, he was wanting the people who were crucifying him to be forgiven. So we should be willing to forgive others also. If you need to be forgiven by God by being baptized in the cross where you have fallen away, please come forward as together we stand and sing.
Soldiers of Christ, arise, and put your armor